Evening, guys. How is everybody? Hope everybody's okay. And Jamie's okay, I take it.
Yeah, I'm fantastic. I don't live on YouTube.
We're not live on YouTube just yet, but it takes a little while to come up.
Yeah, we are. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's okay and looking after yourselves. And welcome to this Friday feeling. Sure, and let's start the weekend with a bang.
Oh, I hope not. we might get blocked off YouTube if we started that. No. I'm only kidding, by the way, guys. For goodness' sake.
Let's have a party and let's start the weekend with some joy. Let's have a good old chat and a good old coffee, tea, or cracking open a can of beer if you're even that kind of man, if you like that kind of thing. And let's enjoy the next couple of hours. And don't forget to hit that notification button, ding that bell, and press that like button.
Something like that, yeah. Right, we were going to finish Jamie's interview that I did with him the other day, but we sort of like changed our minds on that one and decided to talk about how we're going to proceed from now, really, how we're going to take our towns the way they are and see how we can improve on people's lives, really, because at the moment there's basically nothing really in the high street. There's nothing, there's no like real services about. There's basically nothing for people to do, and we want people's input about how to like help the situation, really. I know kids go back.
Business is going to go, yeah.
Look
how many local tradespeople are out of work. Thousands. If we look at my other job, I was also, I don't know if I've told many people, I'm not just a radio presenter, I am actually a qualified joiner, cabinet maker as well. My dad's also qualified cabinet maker and kitchen fitter as well, and joiner. And if we were actually going back into that trade now, the way that everything's been actually turned up, side down in the sense, there's no actual work for the bench joinery type of aspects of things. And if you look at the site aspects of things, like your buildings and that type of thing, that's also being on hold as well because of the social distancing aspect of that. Because obviously, thinking about a site, you've got like 200 plus people on that site. If it's a bigger construction site, and obviously you can't really social distance with 200 people on a building site when you've got diggers and all that kind of thing flying about.
No, exactly. Hi Mickey, hi Michelle, how are you guys? Sorry if my throat, sorry about my throat, it's a little bit more sore today than it sort of like got worse before it gets better, which I know it's going to be like that. So
Stacey, YouTube sometimes unsubscribes you. It's a YouTube fault. So if you want to chat, everybody, and you've been on for a while, I'd actually check that you're still subscribed to the channel. It's a YouTube malfunction. It happens a lot.
It's a bit of a silly one, isn't it? Because then people think that you've unsubbed to the person, and you think, oh, not that I would think that, but you know, some people probably would, and they'd think, oh, okay, that's a bit of a weird one, but yeah, we're all okay. If you guys want to come up and talk about how you guys would want to I know make some changes or fix your communities, and then that's fine by me. I'll put the link up and you can jump up whenever you want.
What do you think is going to happen with all this lockdown and all that? And everybody's being at home, obviously, with the Hoover flu virus, pandemic, whatever you want to call it, and the mental health aspect. If you think about it, everybody's been coped up, so you've no vitamin D. Vitamin D is basically sunlight and that type of thing for the people that don't know. Obviously, you've been around all your other things, so you've got to think of actually going back to work. And if you work in an office, that will actually, your paperwork will probably be sky high because you haven't been in an office. So you've got to actually get back into how an office setting actually works because you've been out of it that long.
Hi, Ralphie, love.
So else can be affected.
But this is what I found out from a lot of office type workers, that they say that people prefer to work from home, so they're going to probably keep a lot of people working from home and keep it like that. But I think that's the way of a company saving money on rent and insurance and all of that, rather than it being about people going back to work as such. But I think people going back to work in an office type situation is good for people's morale, because they can talk to their friends at work and bond and do all of that as well as do their job. I think that's an important aspect of going to work, not just working from home constantly. I mean, I can see it being good in some ways, working from home, but in other ways, I don't think it is such a good thing. I mean, I don't know what you guys' opinions are with all of that. Hi, PD. How are you?
Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's okay. That's just flying in. Hi, PD.
Yeah, that was our that's what we were saying, Michelle, about the actual shops on the high street now. I mean, a lot of it is actually bare now, and how are people supposed to recover from that, especially now they've extended furlough? That doesn't actually apply to shops, does it, in that respect?
PD, I'll pop your channel in the description if you just give me a second, because you actually run quite a fantastic channel, and it needs plugging. It really does, and I'm sure Vix will agree with me.
Yeah, I agree. Furlough is a band-aid, but if you take that band-aid off, it's just going to make a gaping hole, and what is going to fill that hole? Because you can't keep on paying people furlough for the rest of their lives. I was talking to a friend about it last night, and he was saying that they're looking at Leeds Council apparently are trying to do like a credit type system where they're going to like wipe out people's debts. I don't know if that's...
But not many people actually realise these people that are actually working from home and everything like that, and using their own vehicles to actually do it. Happens with a lot of bailiffs as well. That they have to actually have business insurance on that vehicle, because actually using the vehicle is in business purpose. So you actually technically have to have business insurance, and a lot of bailiffs don't actually have it. So I'm just wondering, and that's going to affect a lot of people that are actually
Hi, DJ Cole. This is like a difficult situation, and Jamie and I were sort of like discussing this earlier. You know, how can we in our own communities help the situation? Because I'm sure there are lots of people out of work that are, you know, really qualified to do certain things, like, because there aren't any like services for like mental health or anything like that really at the moment, because they're all sort of like shut down. So would it be possible for like for small amounts of us to start like our own sort of like support groups that would have qualified people in them and stuff to make it a little bit better.
Yeah, look at how much training your security guards men actually have to have when we actually do reopen event venues and things like that, and door staff and all that type of thing on the security aspect of things, because with the pandemic that we've had, this pandemic's going to last for a good few years, because a virus obviously takes years before you actually can get a proper vaccine for it. You can't just make a vaccine with a click of a finger like they turn around and saying you can. But you can't. You need to actually figure out what the virus is and how you can affect the virus. It takes a lot of years to actually do that. So you actually got to think as that security aspect. If because it's going to cost security search you on doors and things like that to go to venues. So you actually got to think to yourself, they're actually supposed to be supporting the venue in a sense. So they're going to spread the virus even more in a sense. So you also got to think of how they're going to actually open venues and pubs and clubs and that type of thing like they're wanting to do. It's a tricky one. It really is.
We were also thinking, yeah, kids do have to go back to school, but is this too soon to do it right now, or is it the right time to do it now? This is another thing that obviously is going to be on the back of parents' minds about their children, because obviously they're going to be worried about their children spreading viruses and things, and then it going back home again. I mean, it's a difficult one. Like I said, we don't actually have the answers for all of this, and
how they're going to do it on buses, because obviously your buses, I think they're letting 16 people on a bus or something, because they have to social distance on a bus, don't you? Kids aren't going to really social distance, I can tell you that for a fact. Because obviously they'll want to sit with their friends, the children. It's obvious.
Well, in London, they do like special school buses for times when obviously around the school, and school children aren't allowed on like normal buses. They have to go on the school ones, so that it makes it better from that aspect. But I don't know whether or not that's the same as what they're doing in other towns. Probably not.
No, we have school buses and we also have normal service buses, and the problem is the school buses where we are in Yorkshire are more expensive than what it is going on a normal service bus. So there's kids going on the service bus because they're saving money, as sad as it gets. But it's understandable because not everybody has a lot of money, and obviously your benefit system, just not being a sound offensive, is fucked basically. It takes forever to actually get.
So hang on a minute. So
benefits.
Kids have to pay to get on. See, in London they have like kids Oyster cards where you don't have to pay. Kids don't have to pay for their fares because it's subsidised by the actual council or something like that. I'm pretty sure. How I think that's how it works in London, but I'm not sure how it works in other towns and that.
I'll tell you what's going to happen, Vix.
I'm actually I actually sound worse. I actually sound worse today than I did yesterday, PD. But my antibiotics have knocked me out today. I've pretty much been sleeping all day, so it's probably why I'm feeling a little bit better, because I've had some sleep. But hopefully,
kids will not social distance. I can tell you that for a fact. Kids will not social distance, and I'm not saying that to be evil. Kids want to play with kids. Kids want to interact with other kids. It's an obvious fact. So the interaction aspect of things, they're going to spread the virus even more. And you wait. I'll give it 2-3 weeks, and we'll be on a full lockdown again. That's the children spreading it. And I'm not being evil.
I think that's the wrong choice of words, Jamie. I know you're not doing to be like that at all. But you know, this is the thing. What is the answer? Because you can't control what other people do, and this is what makes it even more annoying in a way, because they must have thought about all of this. So it makes you feel more paranoid or not, really, whether or not it's
You can't tell me a kid's not going to interact with another kid. That's how kids learn, isn't it? By through interaction. Just turn around and saying as it is. You can't turn around and say that a kid will not interact with another kid. Now again, if you look at it,
this is what Ralph is saying. I have an SIA license for clubs, etc. It's only going to be renewed at the end of this year. I heard they're saying you can only renew if you can prove you've had the vaccine. Has anyone else heard anything on that? But see, that's blackmail again, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. It's like Ticketmaster. We're on about banning people from seeing shows if you haven't had the vaccine. Then there were a big uproar saying, wait a minute, what about human rights? And then you got a human rights lawyer there saying you can't do that. People have rights if they want the vaccine or not. But it's illegal.
Right. Reason they're doing it all for is because you're dealing with the public, and the company doesn't want to be held liable. So it's basically a quick, if you have the vaccine, it covers the company's backside.
It's a load of bollocks.
No.
It goes on human rights.
Yes, but they won't do that.
It's a load of bollocks. I'd sue the company. Human rights. Human rights was all around before COVID.
It's all because basically, it's all to do with covering the company's ass, basically.
Hi, JJ.
To say, you've had the vaccine, and they can say, all my staff's had the vaccine. So it makes the company look good. That's all it's for.
Yeah, I can quite well
we're all
believe
clear
it.
and all this lot. They've all had the vaccine, so they've all been good little boys and girls. Even though
the human rights is gone in this country, and we all need to stand up and fucking fight it back. That's the answer.
The trouble is, though, that's all it's for. If they want the vaccine, take it. If they don't want the vaccine, don't take it. But that is all it's basically for.
But Mackie, what if you can't have the vaccine because of you're allergic to certain properties, and so am I. So because my GP said that as well.
To basically prove that you can't have it. It's stupid how they're doing it.
I agree exactly with Ralphie. Exactly. It's human rights, and we need to defend those fucking human rights.
But that's
what's been lost too long.
The trouble with it is, it all comes down to basically trying to mind control the workers. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, and that's when you get workers' unions involved, and you stand.
The trouble is, though, there's not many workers that have unions these days. That's what you have to remember, Jamie. It's all to do with mind control of the staff.
Oh, I agree with that too, to a degree.
Say that you're being a good boy and girl and have the vaccine. What it for?
Well, I ain't having it. I'll tell you that for a fact.
But that's what it basically is.
I'm not being brainwashed.
That's why they don't they want you to have
You cannot tell me that they can pull out a vaccine in 6 months. It's totally and utterly impossible. Vaccines take years.
You know what the vaccine is? They're giving you. That's exactly what it is. Check up pneumonia. If they go onto a website and read it, I'm going to the wiki finger and put in pneumonia and read what it says.
Lay down, Leo. Lay down, Lily. Come on. I know. I'm okay. Lay down, please. Lay down. Oh, bloody hell. Bloody dog.
What it says? his human rights have been lost in this country. You all need to defend his human rights. Fucking hell, look at the people that fought in the Second and First World War against them evil bastards that wanted to take over the world. Hitler and all them other ones.
Lay down, Lilies. It's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, this is what we're saying. What is the actual answer here?
With blue eyes and all that bloody lot. What's happening? Is it world changing like that again? You got a disability? We're gonna do some magic experiments on you, like the Germans did with Jews and all other ones. You got a disability? We're gonna shoot you. Because disabilities affect the world. People with disabilities should be shot at birth. What's MP White that said that a while ago?
We actually weren't going to talk about the actual vaccine anyway. We were going to talk about how to change, how we're going to proceed from now on to change, how the actual area is going to be, and to actually help people in these areas. That's what we were going to talk about. The vaccine really doesn't, it comes into it to a degree, but not really, because that's down to people's personal choice. At the end of the day. Yeah. Well,
you know what I believe in? I think as human rights have gone in this country, and we need to challenge them. And we need to have them back.
Impossibly, but
police are exactly the bloody same power-hungry bastards. And who's giving them that fucking power? It's not fucking us. It's some wankers that fucking sit in the House of Commons that we vote for. So if we vote for them, who's in charge of them? Us. So it's about time we stood up against them bastards.
I agree, but there's only so much we can do, and using this platform to do it might be the wrong way of doing it. I don't know, because lots of channels are being taken down because of just speaking out about topics like this. It's not very fair to do it like that, but that's what they're doing to silence people, which is very unfortunate. Yeah, it does, but you just have to be careful on how you say it, that's all.
And I'm sure there's thousands of people on here that agree with me. Obviously,
So my dog's now playing with his squeaky toy. I do apologise.
Do you know what I do? Do you know what I'd turn around and say to each and every one? It might work out a little bit of expensive. Fuck the big chain retailers and go for your small independent companies. Because it's your big retail stores that are the power-hungry bastards. As shops and things like that, if you look at them where they mainly all are, they're in places where are owned independently. Look at the shopping centre, it's owned independently. Look at what all the security are working for in that shopping centre, the big retailers. Look how quick it is when they're trying to shake a person out with a camera and turn around and say to them, "Oh, you're not allowed in that shopping centre because you're filming. It's not against our policy." But wait a minute, it's a public place. There's no crime about recording in a public place. It's because they're hungry, hungry bastards. And the police will turn up with a flick of a switch because they only defend the big retailers because they have a fucking button underneath the counter, the press. That's exactly what it is. And look at your ones that are struggling and the ones that are actually crying out for support. Your small independent retailers. Look at your butchers on the high street, your small independent butchers.
Hi, JJ. How are you, darling? All right?
Because of what there is in a supermarket. But look at that. A supermarket's a multinational company. so they can afford to do it a bit cheaper because they're a multinational company.
By Athelston. Angela's asking how your course is going, Athelston. Is it all going all right? Hopefully.
Well, that's my opinion, Vix, and you know I stand on
Yeah,
this.
I know. It like I say, it's a difficult one. I mean, I've been talking about two-tier policing for God knows how long now, and when is it going to change? Because I was under the impression, it might be naive of me to think like this, but I was under the impression that justice is supposed to be blind and police were there to help everybody, not just the rich. But it seems like you only have to look at it when you go to. I'm just going to say protest as an example. I'm not saying it's right to protest or wrong or whatever. It's either here nor there, the rights or wrongs of it. But when you go to like protests or you see them on streams and then you see how the police like react, I'm going to use the Swansea one recently as an example. I don't know whether any of you guys have watched any of the streams. I know quite a few of you have, where it was BLM were on one side of it and the anti-BLM protests were on the other side of it. I'm not talking about the politics of the actual groups here, because that would be wrong of me anyway. But what the police were doing on that day, they were going to the anti-BLM protesters and telling them all to go home, to social distance, and basically to get out of the town because they're breaking COVID rules. But then again, they weren't going anywhere near the BLM supporters and saying that to the same. You would think they would tell everybody to go home. That is my point.
Yeah, but if you look at the BLM supporters, who were the majority of the BLM supporters, and I'm not being racist, Vix, who were the majority of the BLM supporters, and what do the police want to be called? You gotta think of that. And I'm not being racist, guys, but you know where I'm coming from.
Jay, so I'm just going to put this up. Could do I talking to you, but don't know how, don't want to put. You want to talk to me? Right, okay. I'll put my email in the actual chat and you can email me and we can do it that way if you want. I think that might be the best thing to do. Because I actually put my my email on the description of every single chat pretty much. So I don't mind doing that because it's not exactly doxing myself, because
Well, you
it's already.
going
It's like I'm doing it now.
already done in chat.
Oh, I didn't even have done it anyway.
I said if more people actually fought for his human rights and not actually was scared to actually do it, you'd actually find out the world's a better place. And you'd actually find out the world would change. And if you look about it, in the majority of stores, the human beings, they're actually working class people. So why aren't the working class people that are working in Tesco, working in Morrison's, working in Asda, actually raising certain points and turning around and saying, wait a minute, we have customers in here who's disabled. We shouldn't actually be challenging them to put a mask or anything on the face. It's a crime, but they're actually scared to actually doing it because they're scared of losing their jobs. We've actually got a big group together.
The actual answer to Athelston's question, no, I'm not feeling better yet. I've only started taking my antibiotics, so my throat's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. But like I was saying earlier, I've literally been asleep all day, which is quite good for me because I'm actually getting proper rest. But I'm not saying the key to an insomniac is to go out and get an infection so you can actually get some rest. I'm not saying that at all, but it's worked out not better for me, but at least the past couple of days I've had a lot of sleep, which is good. But apart from that, I'm getting there, Athelston, but it's going to be another week of taking antibiotics, and then I should be better after that. But yeah, I think Jamie's right to a degree. A lot of people are scared about losing their jobs if they do speak up, because I should think a lot of people are worried about if they don't do as they're told, their job will go to somebody else, because there are lots of people now out there that are unemployed. So employers are pretty much spoiled for choice of people that they can use to work in these jobs, which... Are you off now, Angela?
You got to think about it, though, Vince. When my dad was actually working on the coal fields, obviously my dad was a person that invented that checked for safety and that type of thing, worked for a company called Made, and they went and sorted out dead bodies and that type of thing, with people dying down pits. I'm sure they'll tell you that later on. But if you look at the coal mining strike and that type of thing, going off what my dad's told me, because obviously I wasn't born around that time, I turned out all the miners stuck together to actually fight for the pits to be stucken over. To stop the pits closed. They're all stuck together as one big community, in a sense, of miners. And it was on a person called, I think, Arthur Scargill or something. That was the leader of them or something. And they actually all fighted for the pits. Yes, sadly, they didn't stay open, and the government won them in a sense. But they actually had that spirit, and they actually stood up for the jobs, and they stood up for the rights. That spirit of what the miners did needs to come back. We need to actually be like the miners that I was in them days, and actually do the same thing. That's all my opinion. And you know, obviously I wasn't born. I'm only going by what I've been told.
No.
I'm sure DJ Bits can comment on that. But, you know.
I vaguely remember it, but not to the extent where probably your dad could, but it was very different time then. But now I think people are
it's going back like that.
But
it's sad to see it.
At least though, at that time, like, you sort of like had the mainstream media on your side, but now the mainstream media aren't on any side but their own. And I think that's the difference there, because obviously
we're talking about the miners.
Yes, the reason they all stuck together is because all the communities, everybody 9 out of 10 had a person or a member of the family working in the mines, if you work it out. So basically, where did all the money come from? Yeah. The mine workers. What did the mine workers do? They went to the shops, they went to the pubs. So basically, they're supporting the fingers, so they paid them back. That's basically what happened, because all the time they were doing mining, they went to the pubs and everything. So basically, they supported the miners. Why did they support the miners? Because everybody worked there, 9 out of 10, and they supported the communities. That's what happened. So yes, everybody worked together. They all banded together. You don't get it these days.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, basically.
Yeah. And this is where it's saying. So you got your miners on strike, the community supported the miners, because the miners support the community. But you don't get it anywhere these days. Everybody's selfish, thinks about themselves, or the people who want to support are not getting it. And so basically, You've got to, and the world is completely and utterly changed. And the trouble is that now, if you go back to the old times, the businesses was all family run. But now it isn't. It's all private people sold off to big corporations and multi-power businesses. So basically, you don't get what we used to have when we were growing up. And this is what's happening. You look out how many businesses have been sold off by the councils, what we used to be loaned by the people, the bins, the roads, the list goes on. And how many other businesses? Steel, and of course what's closed? The steel works. Yeah. The list goes on and on. The fishing industry, what we used to have, the best fish industry is going, the best steel, the best car manufacturers. The list can go on and on. But yet we haven't got them no more. And that is the problem. The kids of today, and there's so much job thingy, is because we haven't got the industries to train them to do what we used to have. We used to go out and we used to be able to go out from one job into another job, because the industries are there. These days, look out. Wait a minute, what industries does Britain have anymore? There's hardly anything. This is where we're saying.
I think that's done deliberately to a degree.
Businesses back into the country to get the people to work. The people work, that's a better future for the country. Better trade, more money goes into the country, better healthcare, better schools. It's not rocket science, it's just pure, utter common sense. But wait a minute, all they think about is me, I want money, and I want lots of money, and fuck the people. That's the government and the councils. But it shouldn't be. It should be. Wait a minute. If we did this, and we could get the people into business, and then we can make a future for the next generation, and the next generation, who wins? Everybody. Common sense. Pure common sense. I want to be a nurse. Well, stop at one. Fair enough. You want to be a nurse? That means you've got to go to college and then on to university. Scrap university fees. Yeah. Wait a minute. I can't do that because it's privately owned. That's 9K a year. Wait a minute. I've got to pay that back when I become a nurse. Wait a minute. Wouldn't it be easier to just say scrap it and then say, right, you can go to college. The next minute we've got a new nurse or a new doctor or a new scientist. Common sense. Well, it's not rocket science. They do it in Scotland, so why can't they do it? Yeah, but you have to live in Scotland. Yeah, it doesn't matter. If they do it in Scotland, so Scotland's a part of the UK, they should be able to do it everywhere in the UK. It's not rocket science anyway, is it?
I'll literally be back in 1 minute.
No problem. It's a crazy world we actually live in, guys and girls. It really is. And that fighting spirit of our country, it's sadly gone. And we need to actually get that fighting spirit back. Obviously, if there's grandparents and there's sisters and there's brothers and whatever else, that actually run it in forces, we can actually, but out of respect for them fighting for us, every day, we should take that spirit and pay him back in a sense and say thank you for fighting for this country in 1914 to 1918 and 1939 to 1945 for his freedoms and things like that, and a way we can actually pay them back in a sense for doing that for us is actually fighting against what's happening at the moment, because it's not what they want, to be totally honest. And if half of them was still alive, I'm sure half of them it'd be saying the same message as I'm saying to you all. If they can do it, we can do it. And that fighting spirit, it seems to be gone in his communities and in his countries. in a sense. It seems to just be all about greed, power, and money. And
What a lot of
it's sad.
people
It really is.
What exactly can you do about all of that when all these big businesses have got their fingers in absolutely everything? It's not really that much. It's not person
If we were more supporting each other instead of people being on each other's necks and each other's throats and actually stood up for certain things, well, obviously we can all have a difference of opinion. That's fair enough. That's what the country we grew up around. As we've got a democratic right in this country to vote and things like that. But you just don't forget who you vote for. Make your promises to get your vote, but the vote might not keep to that. So you actually have to look into a bit more background on that person and find out if they work for certain companies and what certain companies they work for, and if they're actually going to support their own business in a sense, like a lot of MPs do. It's crazy. It really is.
What do you parents think about sending your kids back to school at this moment in time? Do you think it's a good idea, or do you think it's not such a good idea?
I think it's a risk, and I said earlier in the stream, that it's a risk. Kids will interact with other children, so they will spread the virus. And I give it 2 to 3 weeks, and then all the country will go back on lockdown.
But we already are on lockdown.
Yeah.
So how can
they'll go
to tighter measures?
Yeah.
Boris is going to put tighter measures on us all.
Yeah.
And that'll mean shutting shelves off in supermarkets and stuff like that, just to see how far we can push it. Because Boris is another Hitler, and I'm sorry to try and say that, but he is.
No, you don't really want to be using language like that.
No, definitely not.
I would choose other words, Jamie, rather than those, because you shouldn't really be saying words like that, really. If you just said that in the chat, you would have got timed out for that.
Yeah.
And I
don't say it again.
Okay.
Well, I said before I come onto this channel tonight, I was talking to a good friend of mine. He's also an harbour master at Whitby, and asked him basically how this is going. Now we go out of view, what it would like, and he says, "Do you know something? If we could get one more fishing boat in the harbour," he goes, "you just think what one fishing boat jobs it can bring back into the UK." He goes, "You need a crew for the boat, then you've got all the people basically who maintain that boat. Then and then you've got all the people who work on the dock side." He goes, "It's common sense if it works out." He goes, "So what do you get out of it? Just by putting one boat back into the sea." He goes, "It can be done if the government start supporting the people."
Something with Steve.
Any industry.
What's that? The word. Something with Steve.
Yeah. What they get tested when they
what's that name?
Explore.
Exploring with Steve. They are getting tested, going back to. Yeah, but what about? That's all right saying that, but what about if someone's actually got severe disabilities that can't actually physically do a test?
The doctors do it for them.
Yeah, but it'll frighten them to death.
Yeah, but they're still
So there again, mental health affected on that one. No. It's not fair.
They're still doing it. That's what I'm saying. It's
horrible. It's horrible what's happening.
It is horrible, but the trouble is, though, what can we do about it? We can't do anything until Boris and his governments start changing things.
Tell Boris to fuck himself and stand up against the cunt. Simple.
Hey,
Jamie. Because he's following those things. That's what you've got to remember. He may be the Prime Minister, but it's his other people telling him what's going off. Health ministers and everything else what goes to it.
You mean the untrained people that sit in an office that's never worked in an NHS in their life?
Well, they're supposed to be getting the freedom back from the NHS. So,
we
can't wait.
We're sort of going off topic here.
It's the government.
So we are sort of like getting off topic here. I mean, Explorers still saying, yeah, they're going to get tested when they're going to school and that. But what do you mean, like COVID tested, you mean, or different sorts of tests?
You know, it sounds awful, Vix, and I'm going to actually put it out. There's going to be another war in this country.
I hope
as
not.
Sad as it sounds.
Well, hopefully not, because people don't really want that to happen either, but
as much as I would hate to be a war, but where society is changing, and you think about it, you've got your party's already there in a sense. I know it's going into political things on there, but obviously you don't like political things, but if you think about it, you can see your parties and your leaders of your parties actually being there, and you can actually work out your biggest protests as well. Think about all that.
There is a massive problem right now about these tests, because we actually proved it the other day when Turbo's lovely missus who has got COVID right now, and she done all of those tests, and only one of them came out positive and the rest of them came out negative when she had COVID. So what does that say? With all these tests that actually are wrong, until they actually come up with a test that is at 100% accurate, there's not really that much that can be done, is there, really?
Well, Vix, all these people that are too hard and saying, right, I'll too hard and put it out, it needs putting out. There's no such thing as COVID virus, right? What it actually is pneumonia, but it's really bad pneumonia. If you look up pneumonia and you look at the symptoms of pneumonia, you'll find out that's what COVID virus is.
It's a swab one, which is what the one that Turbo was doing on his stream the other day, the one that he done live, which is the instant test, isn't it? Which is the one where he done, I think 1 came positive, 8 came back negative when she had COVID. So, I mean, I don't know what the answer is. The fact that they don't actually work very well, and it's been proven that they don't. So what is the actual answer? I'm not trying to scare people or anything like that, but also what I'd like to see happen when the kids do go back to school is for the kids to all take a test to find out how far behind the kids actually are as well, so that we can actually help them all.
You can't say this. You'll get the police knocking on your door, even though I know it's true.
I don't care. I've got not to hide.
I know, but people just need to go onto it and read it. That's all I said. And then search it up, and then what is they've said. And if they find the right page and read what they're saying, they'll find out what the government is saying are exactly the same for that symptom.
I've just said what it is.
I know.
And I don't care. It needs saying.
You know what it is? Chemically enhanced.
Let me just tell you a story, right? Let me just tell you all the story, right? Because you'll figure this out. It's a true story, right? There was a guy called Herbert Haver, right? The guy invented fertilizer. What I mean by fertilizer is basically for crops, so it helps us eat. What the other guy he also did was invented mustard gas, right? And
Amy, would you mind lowering your voice a fraction, please? Because you really are, you're shouting now, and my ears are like going. It's probably because of my infection, but do you mind a little bit? Thank you. Just a tad, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you.
Invented mustard gas, and
that's a lot better. Thank you.
Thousands of people. Is that better?
That's a lot better. Thank you.
And if you think about what mustard gas does, it fucks your lungs in a sense. And if you think about it from that point of view, the guy had a good point of him, and the guy had a bad point of him. The good point, he helped us all eat in a sense, making fertilizer. And fertilizer is used on crops, on farms, and that type of thing. The bad side of him was, of course, he invented mustard gas. But you think about it as well, this guy was a very, very top scientist. Believe it or not, he was actually a German, believe it or not. But he also had links in with Einstein and all the British scientists as well. So all the scientists, in a sense, work together. So if all your scientists work together and they turn around and saying that this vaccine and that type of thing and this is supposed to have leaked from a lab, in a sense, and you're thinking to yourself, there are these famous top scientists work together, so you can't turn around and say that the government of each council or each area of the world didn't know about it. And if you think about it, a couple of weeks before, I can't remember where it was, but there was a chemical attack, if you remember. And if there were a chemical attack, so the chemicals attack are actually going into the atmosphere, yeah? So if the chemicals are going into the atmosphere, where's the chemicals going to go? You got to think like that. The chemicals are going to spread. So the chemicals are going to spread from person to person to person to person, and that's how it's tracked. Because if you think about it, in the war with obviously Ava, who meant the mustard gas is also going out into the atmosphere. So when the army and the soldiers and all that lot fought in the battlefields, what they're doing? They're spreading mustard gas. So if they're spreading that and they're doing that, they're spreading the COVID thing in the same way. So basically, the governments know about this because it's scientists that have made these diseases, in a sense.
I don't know about conspiracies. I mean, there's loads of different conspiracy theories about so many different things, and if we went through every single one of them, we'd be down so many rabbit holes constantly. I don't think we'd ever come up for air. So we should stick to what we actually can know and prove, rather than go on all these different conspiracy sort of theories. Because
I'm just trying to say of a famous person that people actually need to have a research about and actually find out that this guy had a good side and had a bad side, and he was a famous scientist, and you got to look into the links that the person actually had, and you got to think to yourself, all these governments work together.
I was going to ask you, Kurt, what's your opinion about kids going back to school right now? Do you think it's a good idea, or do you think it's too early with what's going on? Because you've got young kids, and that must be on your mind as well. Same with Stacey; she's got young kids too. I mean, I would hate to. I mean, my kids are older, but oh, thank you, Wes. But I will try and get well soon. I've got another just over a week of taking the antibiotics. I should be fine after that, hopefully. It's just one of those. That's just one part of it. That why during the middle of a lockdown would you be sending kids back to school? It just didn't make sense to me. Why all of a sudden would you be sending kids back to school when we're still in lockdown? It's a bit weird for me. You think it's very strange as well? Yeah. So do I, in fact.
Yeah, you know, all electronic devices about 4 weeks ago for it all, but they're only sending them back to school. So think about that one as well, and how much money they've actually wasted on all those laptops and all those iPads and whatever else they've been giving kids in this lockdown.
I don't think
4 weeks ago.
I don't think it's a waste, because obviously they're going to use them during this in schools and that. So I wouldn't say it's a waste, would it? Would you really? Because they're still going to use them all. So I wouldn't say it's a waste of money to give kids all these devices. But what about like money for books and things like that? And when they do go back to school, money for school dinners and things, because as you know, a lot of parents aren't working at the moment because they've lost their jobs or they're on furlough or whatever. That's going to make it hard as well, unfortunately. So that's another thing I don't think they've thought of very well either.
Well, let me just put it to Alan. How do you think we can help as high streets after coming out of this lockdown and things like that? So Alan's opinion is on it, because I was seeing this come up in the chat. Don't know if you see that, Vix.
See, a lot of people were sort of like saying that, weren't they, that about when they were closing pubs at a certain time and they were making people leave it all at a certain time, and a lot of people, I think, said flippantly, didn't they, oh, so COVID can now tell the time, so you won't catch it between such and such and such and such, but the rest of the time you will.
Alan, I was asking how you think as high streets can pick up after, of course, we've had the pandemic and the lockdown. I'm just wondering what your opinion is on how we can actually have as high streets back open.
It's going to be very difficult, regardless, isn't it? I don't know what these answers are. I really don't.
He says he's not sure they'll be the same. How do you think they can actually survive, in a sense, because we're on one is third, fourth lockdown, mate, aren't we? Obviously national lockdown, I mean, not local lockdowns.
I don't think it'll ever be the same. Oh, what is the answer? Because obviously it seems like the bigger companies want to take the smaller ones out to make it more profitable for them, which is wrong.
Yeah. What happens if we can actually have some company that actually will support local business and local tradesmen and have it all in like one warehouse and have obviously runners for it and things like that and do it like a delivery service type of thing, but also use local fresh produce? That's another idea.
About the bigger companies being able to lower the costs of people, though, because that's what people are more worried about, saving money rather than spending a little bit more and supporting the high street.
But if you know what really shocks me though, right, and I know this is going off topic, but if you ever looked at your big supermarkets and like Poundland and that type of thing, and you're walking by the tills, have you ever normally noticed it's all sugar and all sweets and all biscuits and basically junk food in a sense? So you actually got to think of that as well, that these big retailers are not actually helping health in a sense, because obviously eating all that stuff is going to affect your health. It's obviously going to make you obviously put on weight, and it's not going to help it with other aspects of your health either. So you've got to think about that type as well. Like I said, there should also be a ban in having that near a checkout, because that's where people are obviously, their eyes are connected to it because they're looking in front of them, obviously to make sure where queue is. But when they're looking in front of them, they're looking at that junk food.
What do you guys think of the idea of all of these qualified people that have like lost their jobs that could possibly set up smaller groups, for like mental health and stuff like that actually are qualified? What would you guys think about that? Would you actually use services like that? That were like set up as like community groups that would have people qualified in them? Would you actually use them if we could like set up groups like that within the community so that there is at least hope for some people out there? Jamie and I were talking about that earlier on. If that was actually at all possible, would you guys actually use groups like that?
What I don't understand though, Vix, is why can't we have a mental health group in a local library and actually have a room in the library for it, where people can actually go and do arts and crafts and talk and relieve the stress out in there, but have it done by a proper CPM worker. Get a CPM worker actually in there.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And obviously people that can't fill out forms, they could go to that group and ask that CPM worker at the end of the group, in a sense, can you help me fill out this form? Because obviously they're medically trained.
I've been saying this for a while.
problem is though, using companies like Amazon, but you're getting like an import cost now. Even out of Europe, you're getting certain import costs. I remember ordering stuff from China, Germany, but I got an import for it. But there again, it's in with the European Union in a sense, and we're not supposed to have import duty, are we? Because, you know what I mean? So import duty, in a sense, isn't helping people either. And the other way they get around it is turn around saying it's because of tax, but it comes on the same bill in a sense. It's still obviously border agencies that are charging it.
But Alan says because mental health is not a vote winner, sad to say. But it actually should be, because if you think about it, it comes under the umbrella of social care. And the fact that social care covers such a broad aspect of everyone's lives, such as elderly, people that need carers, and there's so many people now that are having mental health conditions because of all of this. A lot more people are going to be suffering, and the NHS is going to be so overwhelmed because social services won't be able to cope with it. Then it's going to come over to the NHS side of things, and it's going to basically collapse the NHS.
If we want to go into a proper political thing of it, we should actually not pay as much as we're paying to a police and crime commissioner. What's that police and crime commissioner do, to be totally honest? I've never seen our police and crime commissioner in West Yorkshire. Oh, tell a lie. Last time we were at a Labour meeting, but that was a good few years ago. He doesn't knock on the doors. He doesn't interact with them. So what's this police and crime commissioner actually doing? What's this Mark Williamson actually doing? Sat in an office, twiggling his thumbs, and getting a high wage for it? Like I would scrap some of his money and put it into social care. Hi, Coach Hulls, I hope you're okay.
Me too. Like I said, if you want to, you've got my number. Give us a call if you want to, because I got your email, and it must be quite difficult for you right now. Obviously, I'm not gonna mention it, obviously, in here what it was about, but give us a call if you want to.
I'm talking about the police and crime commissioner, or on about what is sat on 220k. You never see them.
How much?
Yeah, that money could be plugged into social care. I'm talking to Alan how much the police and crime commissioner is actually pulling out.
Well, I've just put a thing on there. There it is. I've just put a thing on for you to read. Look at Justice League, the one I've just put on about NHS. That was in one of the files my wife got. So you can basically.
Alan actually speaks a lot of sense, believe it or not, he really does.
So the people can basically find out for themselves.
I know, I like Alan, he's a nice guy. Like I said, I've always liked Alan. Even with his sarcasticness, which I like.
Definitely, 100% right.
And that money should be plugged into social care.
Yes. The trouble is, though,
when have you ever seen Mark Williamson?
Can I ask a question? Why do we need a crimes commissioner officer when the police are supposed to do it?
Because they're supposed to set the budget. The police and crime commissioner sets the budget for the police. So technically, you're voting for him to actually, or her, to actually set the budget for the police.
Wait a minute. Would it be easier to come from government? Because they were basically supposed to.
But it goes through the council.
Well, whatever.
The council set a budget, and then that budget goes to the police and crime commissioner.
We still don't need one.
No, I don't think we do either. In that case, if that's all
don't
they
need
really do,
We don't need a crime commissioner, but if that's going to get what they're getting.
well, what about that 220k? Couldn't that go on to extra police officers on the street? I'm sorry, but it couldn't it?
What? Fighting crime. Helping people get who's been the victims of crime.
If I'm not mistaken, there's a missing crime commissioner vote up this year, ain't there, to vote for him again?
What's got me though? This money. What about the victims of crime who's not getting the support? And they need to do.
I didn't get any support when I was a victim of crime.
Crime commissioners get too much.
Yeah, no.
I sure know.
Get rid of him and use that money for the people who's being victims of crime. So they get the support and all that lot. There's millions out there who's been victims of crime, domestic, and all the lot. What's not getting the support? Just trying to see how many trained professional counsellors, etc., you can get for that much money.
I know.
And how much wages
I
they
said
take
the
for doing
police and
it.
crime commissioners gets too much.
They shouldn't have one. No. Definitely shouldn't have one. There's a lot of things we shouldn't have, but we've got.
I don't believe that we need 3 councillors in every ward, in every town. Why can't we just have 1 man and 1 woman?
Correct.
If you think about it, we only have 1 MP for the area. What's the difference?
Honestly, have you noticed as well? You get councillors in your area, they don't live in your area, and they never come to your area.
It should be good to get to see your dad, Cool Tools, though. That should be nice for you.
Yeah, I'm dead sure there's a police and crime commissioner vote. Should have been last year, I believe it was, but it got stopped because of COVID. And I think they're probably winding up to this year. I know there's a vote coming up for it.
Oh, it was the same time as the mayoral elections, wasn't it? If I believe rightly, wasn't it? And they scrapped it because of the COVID, which I thought was a bit ridiculous.
A Yorkshire accent. It's Lauren with Steve.
Well, there's no getting rid of that easily, is there? Not that I'm saying you need to, by the way. But it's a lot harder to get rid of your accent than it is to get rid of mine, I would have thought.
Yeah. Tell you one's the accent I love, though, and I think it's a brilliant accent, is your Liverpublican accent. I love how they speak.
Oh, you like the Scouse accent, do you?
Yeah.
I like all accents. I think it makes everything fun. Everybody has a different accent. It makes it all interesting, personally. Especially when people talk really fast and you're trying to work out what they're saying, and you're really trying hard without insulting the person, and in the end you have to say, please, can you slow down a bit? And then they actually think it's funny.
Yeah, problem with Yorkshire though, they actually do get loud, but they don't realise they're actually doing it as well. But there we go.
Oh, it's one of them things.
But there again, they turn around and say, if you look into it though, most people from Yorkshire actually come from mill work. And if you think about it, the mill work, there are a lot of shouting that goes on in mills. If you think about it, if you look at the ancestry of a lot of Yorkshire people, it goes back to mill work.
So my cat's just jumped on my phone and just, I don't know who the hell she just called, but
I don't like that person. Go away. Claw it.
Oh, it was Sorry, Angela, my cat just called you by accident. Sorry, darling. I thought my phone was. No. I thought my phone was locked, but obviously not. But I will lock it now so she can't make any more phone calls. My goodness me, my cat's a pain in the ass.
Tell you what it does hurt though at the moment. Ruby keeps jumping on my legs, especially when I'm sat. That doesn't half hurt.
Oh, bless her.
Well,
she loves her Uncle Jamie, didn't she?
Yeah, Sam, you got towards your breath and thinking to yourself.
I should think it would hurt if I came along and jumped on your lap. I'm sure that would hurt as well.
Yeah.
Actually, that came out a bit wrong.
Oops.
You know what I meant by that. I didn't mean that in a rude way.
Because it does hurt that bad. But you can't, obviously, because she's a child and she's still learning.
I just realised what I just said, and that did come out a bit rude. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. Fuck's sake. Oh, bloody hell, why did I just say that like that? It's because I'm not thinking straight. These bloody tablets. That's it, I'm saying. I'm blaming it on the tablets. That's it. Hi, Cole, how are you doing? How's your treatment going? Are you feeling well in yourself today? I mean, have they also said when you're allowed home as well? Because hopefully that will be soon, won't it? I'm sure you're wanting to see your little girl, aren't you? I'd be exactly the same if I was in your position. I'd want to see my little girl as soon as possible.
Just a message for Exploring with Steve. I do actually have a YouTube channel if you want to actually listen to more of my accent. I do make videos on there. I'm sure you'll actually enjoy it.
That's a good way of plugging the channel, Jamie. I like it.
I know you won't mind.
Of course.
Obviously, everybody's welcome.
I don't mind a lot of things, but no, I don't mind people plugging their channels. Of course not.
I'll plug yours. You know, I'll plug yours. I'll plug yours quite a bit.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. I don't mind people plugging their channels and that, but
yeah, just don't forget to actually like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and hit the thumbs up on DJ Vix's channel, so you know when she actually goes live. She's got some fantastic content on there. You can listen to my accent on DJ Vix's channel quite a bit.
It's all about accents on our channel.
You've got DJ Vix's accent. We've got some American people that actually like jumping on as well. So you can listen to people's friends from across the pond, let's say, and all over across the world. That's what YouTube's about. It's about making content and opening it up to the masses.
So it's going to be the end of March. Well, that would be good for you. I mean, I know that's a few weeks away yet, but that's better knowing that now than. I just hope it goes well for you in that time, and you obviously do what they say, and hopefully, you know, by then you'll be the best version of yourself that you can be, and that's the best way of looking at it. It's going to be an uphill struggle for you between now and then and going forward, but that's the thing with mental health. It's a battle every day with yourself, and you can certainly win that battle if you're going to have your friends and family with you and helping you every day.
Well, like I said to DJ Vix earlier, when we were chatting, that as soon as the my channel can go back to normal, in a sense, I'll be doing chats exactly like DJ Vix does, and hopefully we can combine channels, and we can do it different nights, say on my channel, and we can do it on DJ Vix's channel, and other people that we're friends with on their channel as well. Try and combine channels as well. So you can view on my channel or you can view on DJ Vix's channel, but the same thing comes through on both. Lots of ideas to actually do, and obviously just have to figure out StreamYard and then actually how to do that. But that's something later on.
And when I do move, it'll be a lot easier as well, won't it?
Yeah.
About working together with different channels as well.
Because I like to compare channels with Upstate and obviously other people as well, like Cotwatch as well, and get some Americans watching some British stuff and American way of watching American stuff and that type of thing, but combine channels because we all use like StreamYard to be able to do things like that. Lots of creative ideas we can actually plan between us as well. Can't we, Vix?
Well, there's certainly a lot of things. Like I'm going to be going over to the PTSD camp soon, and obviously we're getting some good footage there, and show you what they're doing there as a charity, and get some interviews with the vets there, and to see how their lives have been and how they wish to proceed with things like that, which is important too.
And there's plenty of other places we can all, obviously YouTubers, if they want to meet up and we can combine channels at the same time, and we can go to different places, if you like the veterans and war type of thing. Because there's plenty of places in the Yorkshire area and in the Lancashire area and that type of thing we can go to and visit. Yeah.
That's the thing though, Carl. When you are in places like that, they always make you talk about childhoods and things like that, because that's where they always like to start, and they normally say a lot of problems stem from childhood. I mean, I don't always agree with that, but they always tend to start there. I don't know if Jamie would agree with that, but
yeah, about childhood, and ask certain things about childhood. Are we talking about counselling? What is it? Counsellors do.
Well, Carl at the moment is in a hospital, so
yeah, maybe. Is it? I don't want to get personal with you, Carl. Is it a specialist ward you're on, in a sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically so they actually can actually suss out if it's a family member's background, but you have to be careful. Don't let a lot of information slip, in a sense, because they can actually just check your records and they can do research on your family history from your records. So don't technically tell them everything. Keep a bit private, because then you can actually suss out if they actually are reading your records, because a lot of them wards actually do that. Know from experience, when I had counselling and when in one of them places, that they actually did do that, and I think myself, yeah, but you didn't know that because I didn't tell you that. And I'm thinking myself, that's really not why I've got the problem. That's actually to do with this other relative. But this counsellor put that in. So that's basically told me that she's reading the records of the family background. So you got to actually play them, in a sense, and play them wise. Same as you do with your social services as well. Play them. Because they'll just try and find the easy route, a lot of them. Not saying they all do, but...
No, but he also does want to get better, though, so you've got to, like, balance it out, haven't you?
Yeah. as long as it's helping the person, you've just got to find the right therapist in a sense.
Well, we don't know enough about it. What people he's got around him right now to sort of like help him in that way. I mean, if we did know a bit more about it, I'm not saying we want to know more about it. That's not what we're saying, but
yeah. Obviously, I'm not being personal with Carl. I'm just giving him a bit of advice there. That when I was in that situation of going through that, that's what they did, and it does happen quite a bit because they always try and find the easiest step in a sense.
Well, I mean, being stabbed 3 times alone would be a lot of trauma to go through. I mean, I've never actually been stabbed with an actual blade. I mean, the only place that I've got an ice hockey boot caught in my leg, but that's not the same thing. But I'm just saying, actually being the effects of going through 3 different stabbings must impact on a lot of your life deep down, and you must have buried that quite deep.
Yeah, Carl, you're saying you come from a former gang, yeah. At least for actually getting out of it, I respect you for that. Be careful you don't actually go back into it in a sense.
No.
To hate you going to the prison, because prison life as an ex-gang member will be a horrible thing for you. So I'm actually proud that you're actually trying to get out of that situation. But be careful that in that aspect as well, that the gang will actually bully you or go after your family. You got to be careful with certain gangs, in a sense. So just be careful on that aspect as well. And I'm sorry if you don't speak to a few other gang people that have actually gone through the process of leaving gangs. They'll give you the same advice on that one.
You certainly don't want to be going back down that road again. Definitely not, especially with your little girl. She's certainly going to need you when you come out as well, because her going through all her physio and everything else, and with her broken leg and that.
Gang warfare as well, Vix. And if the person knows you were part of that gang, or that other gang is going to go after you. You got that gang warfare aspect of the thing, even though you're a former member of it. I'm not being cruel, but that's how gang life is.
I'm sure he's moved on from that though, and he's probably in a different area, and that probably doesn't apply to him now. But he's talking about
like if you've got tattoos and that type of thing with the gang signs and that type of thing. Not saying he has, or but you know what I'm saying. I respect that he's trying to change his life.
Hell. You've certainly been through the ringer, haven't you, Carl?
And I said it's at least trying to change his life around and wish him all the best for it. I'm ready to support him in any possible way I can when he goes through that. I'm sure Vix is happy to speak to you as well and help you through that situation. Best advice I could actually say to you, Carl, is you've got to find a trusted person that has been in a gang and sit down with them and basically ask how they've gone through it, and they'll probably be able to give you a bit more support because they've actually done that and that type of thing. But you've got to be careful on that aspect as well, that they're not still in with the gang.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought if they're like ex-gang members and they're like helping other ex-gang members and things like that, I wouldn't have thought
they'd still be part of that at all.
How are you feeling now, Cam? Are you any better with your chest infection? Hi, Era, how are you?
Exploring with Steve. being in prison for GBH, grievous bodily harm. As long as you changed your life around exploring with Steve, and it's an experience for you in a sense. As long as you change your life around for the better and you've learned from your actions, good luck to you as well. At least you're actually trying to change your life around. No problems with people that are being in prison or gangs or anything like that. If you've learned from the experience, that's
I'm
what life
okay,
is.
Ella. I've got a chest infection, but I'm getting there. Thank you. I did actually sound a lot worse than this, so I'm getting there. Got just over another week of tablets to take now, but I should be all right.
I said this message to Carl. I had a gathering where you're saying you're actually in a gang. You probably about had tattoos, because a lot of gang members actually do. So that's why I actually mentioned that comment, that you've got to try and get them lazily removed or something along those lines.
Yeah, he said he has.
Them.
He said he did. I read it in the comments below.
Yeah.
He had to lasered off, which is painful, but good that you managed to do that.
From me, actually, Carl. I live in Halifax. It's just across Bradford. Yeah. Just like you know a bit.
Like if you ever do want to talk and that, like I said, my email's in the description. If you're allowed to send emails in the hospital, I don't mind emailing you, and that if you want to speak to somebody while you're in there, I don't mind doing that.
More than happy.
You know.
And if you find someone like my email, and it's journalistforfreedom0 at gmail.com. If you want to contact me, you're more than welcome.
I just hope that you are back home at the end of March, because that would be a massive thing for you and your family, especially, like I say, especially your little girl. Because I would have thought if her leg would be in a cast for at least 6 weeks, and then afterwards she's certainly going to need a lot of help with her leg, I would have thought.
Yeah, my email's just gone into the chat now. If you want to have a chat with me, you're more than welcome.
Hi, Belle.
If you even want to email me and you have Facebook or out like that, I'm happy to talk to you on Facebook. That's not a problem. If that's easier for you.
How is my Canadian brother today? You all right,
Belle? You okay?
Have you had your test done yet, a cam, or are you still waiting for them to be done?
Yeah, I'm fantastic. Exploring with Steve. I'm just a bugger for ranting, DJVix.
You rant? Never. I've never heard you rant in my life. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, apparently Northerners do like a good rant. Mind you, so do a lot of people, so can't really put that down to you being Northern, I suppose. Well, I could, but...
Hey, but the time I said I learned quite a bit from my rants, so if it learns them something, by all means.
Yeah, but you could also learn to breathe and try and calm down a lot when you talk. That would actually teach you a lot as well, I think. Because I used to be a lot like you, and it was all because you're like me, you wear your heart on your sleeve, and you're a very passionate person, especially when you get talking. And I used to be like you a lot, but when I went to counselling, and I had to tone it right down. And now I'm a lot more chilled out as a person, and I think you can get your point across a lot better when you're a lot more calm and level-headed, which takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a while, but you'll get there, I think. But it's whether you want to like change in that way, or whether you like the way you are, or it's up to you though, isn't it?
I try and keep it the best level I can, but you know, I think that more public speaking needs to be toned on my voice a bit. Too much background in public speaking. That's the problem. When obviously it's public speaking, you need that loudness.
No, I actually just, it's not about loudness, it's about how you come across, your tone of voice, how you say. It's not like what you say, it's how you say it, you know. I think that makes a big difference in everything, you know. And I think if you wish to work on that aspect of things, you do a lot better, I personally think. But that's completely down to you, isn't it, on how you would want to do that in future. Because especially, you know, if you are going to be like interviewing people like on the street and that, if you come across as it's okay, but being direct with people, but if you come across quite loud and direct, then people think you're shouting at them, and you're actually not.
The people have actually says to me, that I'm completely different when I'm in when you see me in person to what I am actually talking to you now like this.
Hi, LT.
Yeah, Tilly, hope you're okay. I hope you're all having a good time. And it's nice and sunny for you.
Yeah,
and you've had some more fantastic drives today. We know you like going out on your drives.
Yeah, it's what, 20? Is it 22? 20 to 5 or something where they are now? Is that right? Maybe I've got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Is it 6 hours? 6 hours behind?
Yeah, I'll drop the
5
panel
hours behind.
link. I'll drop the panel link if LT wants to pop on. He's more than welcome.
Because you said you wanted to go out shortly, didn't you?
Yeah, but still can live your way LT talking for LT if you want to make it stream longer. It's more than happy.
Nah.
Bob off. Yeah.
I'm not going to be talking for much longer because I need to sort of like save my voice as much as possible.
Yeah, I actually agree with you, LT. Bell Admin is a fantastic moderator. Can't knock him in any way. Fantastic.
No, he is, definitely.
Yeah. I just love the aspect where he turned around.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, just love the aspect where he actually tells people to actually hit the notification bell and things like that. Not many moderators actually do that, and I can't knock the guy. I really can't.
Yeah, it's a thing, because this is why a lot of people misinterpret what people actually say, because it's like I was saying about Jamie months ago when people were saying that he sounds aggressive, and that I said no, he's actually not. He's like he's just being a passionate person. It's got nothing to do with being aggressive.
Well, if anybody wants to go to Turbo's charity fight night, that's in the process of being planned, and you want to actually meet me in person, you'll actually find out I'm a completely, utter different person in face than what I am over a social media channel. I'm quite a soft-hearted person in a sense, but if I need to be a bastard, I'll be a bastard. That goes with everybody, but I'm quite a soft-hearted person.
I think we're all like that, though, aren't we, to a degree? Yeah, I can be a right cow and I want to be, but hardly at all, because there's no need for it, I think. You know, I'm quite a placid person, really, until somebody either threatens my family or... Whoops. Sorry, just knocked that by accident.
Because obviously, if I'm going on a platform like this, it's a bit different to what we were doing in real life, in a sense. It's personal life, I take it as, going on platforms like this, and it's delicate subjects, and delicate subjects actually touch your soul and your emotions actually show. And when your emotions actually show, the tone of your voice will change because of that emotion. And if it's a really touching subject, your voice would actually get louder because you actually would technically want to get your point of view across, and that type of thing. And it happens with everybody. It goes on the emotion aspect and tone, in a sense. If you look at MPs in the House of Commons, when certain subjects come up, you'll realise the MP wants to be heard over the House, in a sense. And what I mean by the House is the people and the other MPs sat in there. So the voice and the tone of that MP will actually change. And that's because it's an emotion that MP's feeling. But it still goes on the emotions and things like that. Very educated, actually. So
I was going to say, LT, that comment, I'm a kitty cat meowing. You haven't been on the CBD oil, have you, today? That was a joke, by the way, but you've been...
I haven't bored people by talking about emotions and things like that, but a lot of people don't actually realise people change with that aspect. Police officers do as well. If you ever notice the aspect where they actually be a proper police officer and actually try and quote you the law, even though they might not actually know the law themselves, you'll actually notice they actually have friendly, and then when they're actually going into government and official, the voice changes, and that's because they want to have power over you. So it goes on the emotion. So you
I know that, LT. I was actually pulling your leg.
So you think to yourself, oh fuck, now he's going to arrest me, or now she's going to arrest me, so I better listen. So your emotion of the police officer will change. Same with a doctor. If you notice, you're diagnosing the doctor, you basically say to the doctor, look, I've got pain in my leg. The doctor will check your leg, and when he's actually giving you his diagnosis, or she's giving you a diagnosis, the doctor's voice will change. That's because of the emotion of his job. Because he wants to be in that aspect and make you understand what he's talking about. So it goes on that.
Do you know how long your cat's got now? Because if she's due any time, you must be beside yourself with worry. I'd hate to think how bad that feels, because...
No, I'm not boring you, DJ Vix.
No. Kurt was just saying her cat is so big that she's due to have her kittens any time. And I said that must be a worry within itself, because, I mean, I'm lucky. My cats have never had to go through that because I've had them neutered straight away. So But if you could imagine if any of your dogs were pregnant or anything, how worried you'd be if you had to deal with that. You'd be off.
Yeah.
You'd be completely off it, wouldn't you? That's what I meant. If you'd be boring me, I'd actually say so. I'd say, Jamie, shut the F up. You know me by now. I don't mince my words. But no, you're not boring me at all.
I tried to touch on that subject because many people don't understand voice changing and stuff like that. So, but I'd actually talk about it.
Some people think they are. Some people think they're not. Not all cops are bad. Not all cops are good.
Well,
obviously.
What is it? It's a group, isn't there? What it is. It's a thing they say, and it stands for all cops are bastards. I can't remember the abbreviation is.
Oh, bless her, cuz.
There's an abbreviation for it, and it stands for all cops are bastards.
Oh, really? I mean,
yeah, ACAB is the abbreviation, and it stands for all cops are bastards.
But how can no? I mean, some are, yeah, but not all of them are. So I think that's a bit out of order.
And I think it goes on with the death of George Floyd and that type of thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but
I'm sure one of the American people in the panel can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm aware that a lot of people wear that on their clothing and stuff. But like I said, not everybody's like that. There are some good ones out there. There are some nasty ones out there. But that's the same with everybody, isn't it? Really. At the end of the day, you can't all tar someone with the same brush. It's the same with doctors, same with nurses, same with firefighters, veterans. Some are good, some are bad. It's the same with everybody, you know.
What I don't like is the perks they get for being policed. Why can't those perks go to other people as well? The police have too many perks for doing that job. Why can't the armed forces have perks for their job?
I agree with that. I've said that to you before, haven't I? About was that sentence that you said that they have for rehabilitation? Well, why can't the veterans have the same thing?
Yeah, in Harrogate.
Or firefighters.
Obviously, in summer, I'm going to try and go over to Harrogate best as I possibly can. I'm actually going to visit that place and actually see if I can record it and talk a bit more about it. But at the moment, with the lockdown and the pandemic and that, you can't really cross borders because I'll be crossing into North Yorkshire. And that's when they're actually going to get you. You're crossing a border. Because I'm West Yorkshire, you're crossing into North Yorkshire.
Well, I'm not even sure what is the actual boundary. How far are you allowed to travel before they can do you for it? How many miles is it? Is it 3 or 4?
Don't know. Goes on work, doesn't it? How many?
Oh, you're doing a live stream tomorrow, are you, local?
Are you allowed to travel in lockdown?
Do you know what?
Current COVID-19 regulations, you must stay at home. You must not travel, including abroad, unless you are in special reasons to do so. It is illegal to travel abroad for holidays.
Is it 5 miles? Right, okay. Well, 5 miles isn't exactly that far if you're like in a rural area, is it? And you need to travel to get to a pharmacy or whatever. That isn't very well thought out. What time are you doing this stream local as well, so I can like
if say I can if I can go at 10, I'll be happy, Vix.
Yeah, that's fine.
If anybody else wants to drop on and stay a bit longer,
no, I'm all right because I've got to take my meds and that anyway.
I don't know if Turbo will be on Sunday, guys and girls. I don't know. Because djvix and Turbo normally do a live stream on a Sunday. But hopefully he's feeling better. His wife and that's feeling better, and you can come and have a listen to Turbo and djvix on the Sunday.
Yeah, it's normally 2 till 4 on a Sunday.
I don't know if any of the moderators in the room have Turbo's link. If you can get it up, it's Turbo Fight Hub. Its link's worth plugging. As at the moment, I'm stood on a stairway and I'm not near me computer.
I'm sure. Yeah, a lot of So, what is Rob Stewart doing in London? Doesn't he live in London, Rod Stewart? I thought he'd actually lived in London, but maybe I'm wrong. But
Rod Stewart's got a house in Spain, and he spends a lot of time in Spain. Does Rod Stewart?
Okay.
He does have an house in London.
Yeah, I thought so. Kerr said she had a really bad interaction with the police, but she realised that actually some of them are actually not trained properly.
He actually has an Essex mansion as well, which is up for sale, 3.4 million.
I actually do believe that a lot of the police aren't trained very well because it's all crammed into a short space of time, and a lot of what they learn is on the job. But in the meantime,
okay.
Yeah. Hi Clint, you alright? It's just one of those things that they're going to learn on the job, but it all depends what their partners are like. Now, if their partners are good cops, then they're going to turn out to be good cops. If they're not, then that's one of their things as well. Yeah, Jamie's going out for the evening, so I'm going to finish the stream now because my throat is absolutely killing me, as you can probably hear. I've been talking for like well over an hour now, and I've been told to rest my voice as much as possible, which is all good. And I will see you guys on Sunday. You guys all take care and have a good weekend. Have a good evening.